digital marketing strategies, she generated results and value to companies before Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn even existed. With over 15 years of experience, she is an award-winning brand and marketing strategist and the founder and chief strategy officer of Marketing Strategy Hub. We are so honored to have her with us here today. Please welcome Armida Markarova.
Thank you. Hi, thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. It is so great to be here. I have to say, the moment I walked into the hallway, you're gonna laugh, but I got chills. Seriously, how many of you get chills when you come here every day? I thought I would be the only person, but hey, I'm being honest right now. It's been exactly 14 years since I graduated from the University of Wisconsin-Parkside with a degree in communication. And I also have a certificate in conflict analysis and resolution. I have to say, this is actually one of my very first times being here on campus after graduation. So the feeling that I got coming back here, and when Mike Becker invited me to join you guys here today for this wonderful event, I immediately said yes. I've done many presentations, I've done many keynotes, but this is my very first time actually doing this at a university. And I want to commend all of you for putting together this beautiful event. It's incredibly well organized and very professionally done, so congratulations to all for putting together this great event. I want to do a quick poll. Show of hands, how many of you want to be entrepreneurs when you graduate? Okay, I see about like 1/3 of the group maybe here. How about how many of you want to work in a corporate world? Agency, corporation, business? All right, I see quite a few of you haven't raised your hands at all. I figured you guys, that means that you probably have arranged for an early retirement, huh? That's great. I want to talk to you. I want to know what you guys are planning to do. I want to be in your camp. Well, regardless of what you guys are going to do, whether you're going to be an entrepreneur or if you want to go down the business path, I want to talk about something that's really important. It's probably in the top 3 most important things that you can do for yourself to find the passion of what is it that you want to do with your life, and that then hopefully will lead into a fulfilling career regardless of the choices that you're going to make. And that is a development of a personal brand. We all have a personal brand, whether we want it or not. In fact, our personal brand can be intentional. It's something that we've been cultivating over a long time. There are some of us that are very fortunate to know what we want. Like I was talking to Sergey a couple of minutes ago, and he already knows what he wants to do with his life. He was able to find that passion of helping people and corporations really become better leaders. That's fantastic, that's great. But there are some of us that are not quite there yet. I know for a fact it took me about 10 years to actually find my passion in life and decide what is it that I want to do. And so the accidental sort of like personal branding that we have is the result of the actions and in some cases also interactions with others that we do on a daily basis. And if you want to know if there is accidental sort of aura around you in terms of what people think about you, there is a quick experiment that I would encourage all of you to do. It's actually quite easy. It's not going to take more than 5 minutes, and do it either this weekend or sometime next week. It's a 3-step exercise. It's a very quick exercise. All you have to do is write down 5 words that best describe you. Write down 5 words that you think you love doing, your passions in life, things that get you excited, get you up in the morning, and then put that sheet of paper aside and get 5 of the people that you work either closely with, your friends, your family, your colleagues, your bosses, if you have a job, or maybe even your professors, and have them do exactly that same exercise. Have them write down 5 words, 5 adjectives that best describe it. Ask them to keep it clean, of course, because we've had situations where people would come back with some creative license on some of the descriptions that they were coming back. So, and then step 3 of that, compare the notes. Take your list and compare it to what you will see them coming back to you with, and see if there's an overlap. What you think about yourself and what others think about yourself, if there's any overlap, if there is difference. I know for a fact that there are some interesting things that can happen. One, you're either very self-aware and there are not going to be any surprises in what people will tell you. And 2, you may find some surprising, interesting facts about you. I was mentoring a young lady who was going through a similar exercise, and she found out that people thought, she listed in her adjectives and the things that she thought about herself, very technical skills, like she's very detail-oriented and is organized and many other things. And then when people actually, 4 out of 5 people listed that she's a great listener, that she cares about people and she provides a lot of value and she loves helping people. And so as a result of that exercise, she was able to actually find her passion in life. She was going down the medical path in her career choice. And as a result of that, she realized that she actually wanted to help people in a different way, and she actually went down the path of being an occupational therapist. So a quick exercise is a quick experiment that can really kind of put things in perspective for you. And obviously there are many, many other things that you can do, but this quick exercise allows you to really quickly identify if your personal branding that you have right now coincides with what you want it to be, or whether you want to work on it in terms of what others are telling you about. Now, I thought we're going to be talking about a lot of different things, and I thought at the end of this 30-40 minute discussion, just to make sure that everyone is on the same page, we're going to break out into groups of 4, and every group will have to write up a 3 paragraph description of your best takeaways from this, and then one of you will come up here and present to everyone what you learned. Does that sound good? Good, I'm just kidding. I wasn't going to do that to you guys. This is as close to being a professor at a university I'm going to get, so sorry, I wasn't going to pass on that opportunity. This is too good. Someone who says no, what you mean? Jordan, she's like, yeah. So Jordan, you're going to do this right after we're done here, okay? I love some enthusiasm and some not so much enthusiasm. I'm going to call you. What's your name? Darren. Darren. I have my eyes on you now, so I'll be calling on you during this presentation. All right, I'm just joking. Of course, we're not going to do that. But there are 3 things that I want to talk about today that I hopefully will be able to keep you a little bit more focused on how to go about developing your personal brand. Number 1, we're going to talk about what a personal brand is and why you need it. Then we're going to talk about how to develop a personal brand statement. And personal brand statement is sort of like a North Star that will guide you through your entire journey and through your entire career development path, and really just life in general. And then I'm going to provide you with some existing resources and tools that we currently have available to us that you can start utilizing pretty much starting today to build your path, because so much of what we do is digital. There are some excellent digital tools that you can take advantage of right now to start positioning yourselves as thought leaders, even while you're still in college. So, what is a personal brand? Can anyone in the audience maybe describe their
I would say it's just being able to establish yourself professionally and just kind of what you offer to the table, more or less. I would like to think get to be professional about it, not just
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. Anyone? Any additional thoughts on what a personal brand is? Go ahead.
It's kind of just what you want other people to see you as,
Exactly.
like it would see like your values and everything like that.
You nailed it, exactly. You're absolutely right. Both of you are right. It's what people know you for. It's what people think when they talk about you to others, when you're not in the room with them, or even when you're in the room. It doesn't matter what context is. It's what comes to mind when people think when they first start talking about you. So, I have to say that there's this big misconception nowadays, especially because there are so many agencies that come aboard that talk about personal brand development, and there are so many celebrities, especially, that develop these personal personas around themselves. And a lot of the times, personal branding started getting really bad rep because quite often, the person is not coinciding with the brand that's put out there. And that's a big challenge because they're going about it the wrong way. They want the public to like them, of course, and they forget about the most important thing. Personal branding, in my mind, before it helps you define what you want to do in life, what it does, it really helps you center yourself and find your passion. For me personally, the exercise that I went through about 3 to 4 years ago, in terms of finding my personal branding, was actually exactly that. It was exactly that. It was being able to find the passion that I love, things that I love doing, and then focusing on that and building that out and developing a path to growing it and finding ways to really elaborate on it. So the biggest adventure you can ever take in life is to live the life of your dreams. And I don't mean it in this big grand way, honestly. It took me 10 years. When I graduated University of Wisconsin-Parkside, I was so focused on building my career path. On the graduation day, it was May 16th, I believe, 2003. I graduated from University of Wisconsin-Parkside, and I had my first job at Briggs & Stratton lined up. On that very same day, I got a job. And it was a wonderful job. I loved it. Mike and I actually worked at Briggs & Stratton together. It was a great opportunity. It was a great team. I loved working and being part of that great team. But what I realized is that along the way, I was constantly working on building my skill set. It was absolutely necessary, but I was completely forgetting about my passions. I was completely forgetting about my dreams. I was focused on building that career path. And as a result, the first 2, 3, 4, 5 years were fantastic. I was loving it. But then as that adrenaline starts wearing off, I was starting to getting really antsy and really uncomfortable. And I started getting this feeling that I wasn't really doing what I was meant to do. And I kept still going on. I went into the National Marine Manufacturers Association and in 2005 and started their digital marketing team. I grew that team from a team of just myself to 10 digital marketing professionals handling over 30 websites, digital marketing programs, social media programs, advertising for over 30 boat shows and a national public awareness campaign on behalf of the boating industry. And I did that again for 12 years. And finally, not until 3 years, when I was sitting in a Vistage meeting for executives, and a speaker was there and was talking about passions in life and self-limiting beliefs, that I started realizing what I was missing on. He made us go through all exercises, very interesting exercises in terms of defining your passion, and what I realized is that my passion was definitely, I loved marketing, but it wasn't the only thing that I loved. And that because of the fact that I wasn't tapping into those additional things that would make me happy, I was not fulfilling my full potential. So the biggest adventure you can ever take is to live the life of your dreams. And that is why it is so important to tap into your passion with your personal branding. All these things that I'm listing here, why you need it. Establish yourself as a thought leader in your field. Establish your credibility in the eyes of others. Establish your niche. All of this comes secondary. The number one thing is finding your passion, finding that one thing that drives you, that makes you want to get up in the morning. What are you most passionate about? So how are we going to define what are we passionate about? So this is actually going to be a very quick exercise that we're going to go through right now. And because we only have 30, 40 minutes, this is just kind of keep you guys focused on this. But there's actually a full workshop that I normally do on this. So just keep in mind that this is just one quick exercise out of many other things that you can do. But this kind of will hopefully get you thinking about things that you can do to start identifying your passion. So the quickest way for you to find out, to start developing your personal branding is to think of that one word that makes you happy, or one word that you want to be. What do you want to become with you in your life? Think about that one word and just put it right in the middle in the bullseye. It's called the bullseye technique. Just slap it right there, put together, maybe you can print a piece of paper and just put like Post-it notes and say, this is what I'm feeling passionate about. And as you start thinking a little bit more about it, don't spend too much time thinking, actually just kind of go from your heart. Start feeling the rest of the surface in the bullseye. Just start taking Post-it notes and start posting other things that make you happy. What are you passionate about? What are the things that you get excited about when you get up in the morning? For me, for example, this is a quick one for my own personal branding that I've done. I have always been passionate about marketing, and not so much about marketing itself, obviously, it's just the storytelling, the ability to tell stories about different brands to consumers, to customers, whether it's B2B or B2C, to talk about different results that they can have, solve people's problem, because marketing, sometimes can get really salesy, and for me it was really important to show how products and services could actually help solve people's problems and challenges. But then as I started filling the rest of my bullseye sheet there, one of the things that was coming up is that I love technology. I love working in space. Before Facebook and LinkedIn and all those tools were existing, we were experimenting with many different other things like, Google AdWords and stuff like that. And later in my career, I discovered that I felt really passionate about mentoring and coaching. As I was developing a team and I was managing a team of people, I found myself really drawn to having conversations with them and being able to really sit down and understand what their motivations are in life and kind of get into the mentoring relationships with them. And the last thing that was really always exciting to me is results. I'm a very results-driven person, so every marketing campaign that I work on, I love seeing results. I have to have KPIs and the measurements in place to see the end result of that. So these were the important things that were kind of important to me as I was thinking about what my personal branding is, and I put them all on the board. And as a result, here's what I saw. So marketing was really important, mentoring, coaching, technology, and results. And so what my personal brand statement reads today, anywhere you can go and you will see it on my website, on LinkedIn page, on any other channels that I work with, is through marketing workshops, customized keynotes, and one-on-one coaching, I help marketers and businesses turn their marketing dollars into business outcomes that they care about. And as you can see, all of the things that I talked about, from mentoring to coaching to results to technology to marketing, are all encompassing in this statement. Now, one thing that I want to talk about and kind of give you a heads up is that your brand statement will evolve over the course of years. Many people are so concerned about getting it right the first time. Don't be so concerned about that, because it will actually be evolving as you go along, as you discover new passions in life, as you kind of move along your career path. Most likely your brand statement will start getting evolved. It will add a lot more layers. It will be changing. It may take a different path. It will not always be the straight path that you have to stay on, and that is totally fine. But it's important to be able to adapt with it and change with it as you go along, and always kind of revisit it to make sure that you remember what you stand for in your life. So as a second step to that bullseye technique, there are actually 4 questions that you can also ask to elaborate on, to help you sort of elaborate on that statement. And actually, Valerie and I did a quick exercise. I didn't want to put anyone on a spot today here, so Valerie and I got in touch a week or so prior to the event, and we wanted to develop a personal brand statement for Valerie. And she actually helped me answer some of these questions, and so today we're going to unveil her personal brand statement. Do you want to come over here? Do we have a mic for oh, perfect. So Valerie and I got on the phone and we started talking about what she wants to do in her life after she graduates. When are you graduating?
In May.
In May. So this is coming up, and she shared with me some very interesting things. So these are the 4 questions that we wanted to hone in to make sure that we know what she wants, and then also who she's trying to attract and who she wants to go after in terms of potential employment. So the number 1 question was defining what you would like to do after you graduate. Answer that question?
Yeah, so I was hoping to get a job at either a agency in Madison or Milwaukee, an ad agency, and work in the account side of industry, so working with the clients and budgeting and just being very organized.
Great. And then what was the demographic that you wanted to go after?
So I really like traveling, and so I thought it would be interesting to be able to work at an agency that has like a hotel line or maybe like a large airline. That would be kind of fun.
And Valerie, what do you think is the point of difference for you? What makes you stand apart from everyone else?
So as you can see, I'm a student leader. Not only am I on Commvergence, but I'm also on the e-board for Whitewater Advertising Association. So I think I would stand out from my peers in interviews because of the experience that I have.
Awesome. And then explain why you do what you do. Why do you want to do advertising in the travel industry?
So I got into advertising I don't really know how. So let's just go from the beginning. I started I worked on the yearbook in my high school, and so I liked the creative side of that, but I also liked having, like, you need to have the picture and the team photo and the caption, like, kind of like creative but with structure. So I got into advertising that way because you have to stay on strategy with advertising, so it sort of relates to how I got into things with yearbook.
Awesome. So this is just a quick exercise. Again, there are 4 questions, and as I said, there is a whole workshop that normally happens, and I know that Mike Becker, you guys were going through some of it in one of the classes. There's a very elaborate process that you have to go through, but this kind of keeps you a little bit focused and keeps the conversation going. So what we came up with in terms of a quick statement, and again, Valerie is going to take this and elaborate on this, and is going to really kind of take it to the next level, is this short sentence. Through my passion for world travel and enthusiasm for teamwork, attention to detail, and results-driven attitude, I want to help advertising agencies and their clients in the travel and airline industry attract more new customers and keep the ones they already have. Does that sound good?
I like that a lot.
Awesome. So a couple of things that we're doing here with Valerie's statement. First of all, she's showcasing who she is and what she wants to do. Number two, she's telling who she wants to do it for. And number three, which is the most important thing, she tells them what results she's going to get for them. All companies, especially agencies, and if you're one to work in an agency world especially, result-driven attitude is really important. And what do agencies and their clients want? Clients, right? They want to get more clients, they want more business, and they want to keep more to have high retention rates. So by identifying this in her brand statement, now Valerie is able to add that to her LinkedIn profile, to add that to her resume, and all the recruiters that are going to be looking at it, they're going to know exactly what she wants and what she stands for. Now, Valerie is very focused already. She told about the fact that she wants to be in a travel industry because that's her passion. If you feel that this may be a little bit limiting to you in terms of finding your first job, which it can be, try to keep it open-minded. You can add interest. You don't have to mention it in the brand statement that your interest is specific in travel. You can add it as a later, sort of like as additional details in terms of what are your passions. And it doesn't have to be just one passion. You can list as many as you'd like, maybe up to 3, 4, just to give recruiters an idea in terms of what you're looking for. But this is keeping her focused, and what she can do now is take this and really keep working on it and elaborating. It's not going to stay the way it is right now. I'm sure she's going to elaborate on it and add and edit it in and out, but this is a good starting point. What did you think about this exercise? How much time did you spend thinking about what you wanted to do with your life?
Answering those 4 questions was really easy, and so I think being able to take just the quick answers from those questions and turn it into something that would actually apply to what I want to do and stuff, it was really cool. I think it's cool.
Awesome. That's good. That's good to hear. All right. Thanks, Bella. So let's talk about how you can start building your personal brand. Now that you have, obviously, if you go through the exercise of developing your personal brand statement, if you find your passions and everything, then you need to find a way to actually get it out. You need to let the world know about it. It used to be that before the age of the digital, collaboration came about, people would only meet when they would come to interviews. That was the only way for recruiters and everyone else to get to know you, is during the actual first meeting when you get a chance to shake a person's hand. Well, in this day and age, everyone out there, including recruiters, including your potential employers, form an opinion about you before you even get to have a chance to speak with them, before you even get that phone call telling them, hey, would you like to come for an interview? And how do they do that? By simply Googling your name. That's as simple as that. Now, actually, that's another experiment that I'd love for you to do. How many of you Google your name? How many of you love yourself so much that they do? That's okay. I do that all the time. That's okay. Totally fine. In fact, I encourage you guys to do that every so often. In fact, once or every quarter or so, because that with Google indexing new things and with social media, things are coming up. So be very careful in terms of what you're putting out there. I know you all know that, but sometimes it's really easy to forget. Now, as you're doing this, as you're going through the process of establishing your brand, think about it from the digital perspective. Think about what shows up when recruiters and potential employers and charity organizations that you want to be involved with, what type of impression will they get when they look at your digital footprint? And that digital footprint is exactly what's coming up in the results on Google and Yahoo and Bing or anywhere else people are looking for. So there are 3 things that you can do to help establish a good digital footprint for yourself. Number 1 is tell people who you are, and I'm going to elaborate on all of them. Number 2 is create content, and actually I need to add here is create content that adds value to others. It's not about you, it's about how you can help others get information, how you can help others find things that they want to learn about. And number 3, which is the most important thing, is engage with people. Talk with people, get to know other people, expand your network. So let's start with tell people about yourself. Again, because we're talking about this within the context of digital footprint, how many of you have a LinkedIn account right now? That's great. Actually, the majority of the people here. How many of you visit your LinkedIn account at least once a week? fewer people actually raising their hands. Okay, what do you do when you go on LinkedIn to check your account? Go ahead.
I just kind of see what everybody else is up to, and like
Okay.
I follow a lot of people that are interested in like the same things that I am, so I see what they're up to, and then it sort of like interests me a little bit, so then I check it out.
So you're just consuming content. You're reading through their posts and engaging.
for the
Okay.
most part.
Any of you engage with people on LinkedIn? Share information? Can you share with me a little bit? What do you do?
Yep, I write articles as well
Oh, that's
as,
awesome.
engaging with new connections and events networking.
Okay, that's great. That's wonderful to hear. That's actually, I'm gonna ask you to join in on the conversation here in a little bit. So LinkedIn is actually, I see that all of you are on it, but it looks like only some of you are actually actively engaging and doing something on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the largest growing social media network right now, and it is the most powerful network. In fact, it's turning into this educational platform. LinkedIn, which is acquired by Microsoft bought LinkedIn for $1 million, and LinkedIn, in its turn, bought lynda.com. Do you know what lynda.com is? It's an educational courses, platform for, I believe last time I checked, it was like $1.2 billion. So they're trying to move away from being this just a job posting platform to really be a true networking website. And I have to say, almost 80% of the business referrals that I get from my business come from LinkedIn without me spending a single dollar on advertising. In fact, Mike, how did you get in touch with me?
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. It was exactly through LinkedIn. We haven't talked, Mike and I haven't talked like in 7+ years. And he reached out to me on LinkedIn, I believe probably after seeing some of my posts or whatever it was. So it's, LinkedIn is the place to be right now, and it's not, I just want you to be aware of the fact that it's not a job posting website, it's a networking website, and it's a digital virtual networking website. And I want to share with you some of the profiles that I came across of students that are currently active on LinkedIn. In fact, I had another example to share with you, but last week I came across a profile of a young woman, her name is Annette, and I was just so blown away by her presence on LinkedIn. Not only does she have a really elaborate LinkedIn profile, but she's so actively engaged in the community. She is talking to recruiters. She's talking to her peers. She's providing value through content sharing. What was her name again? Sorry? Kristen. Just like Kristen, she's producing articles. She's sharing articles with her peers and other community members. And her profile is amazing. Anything that she posts gets so much engagement, between 800 to 1,000 likes, which is actually very hard to get on a LinkedIn platform because of the algorithm changes that they go through. She gets, as a result of this, before she even graduates, she's already an incoming intern to Google, and she had lined up some other internships that are going to be coming along her way very soon. And so what I like about her profile, I thought I'll give you maybe a couple of tips in terms of how to optimize your LinkedIn profile, the best way to get results, to get recruiters getting in touch with you. So she obviously has a very good photo of herself, which is really important. Professional photos really matter. But what she does really well is she's taking advantage of that header space. It's not just a blank default header space. You can actually turn that brand statement, Valerie, that we did for you, and add that brand statement to your header. And that will be a quick attention getter for recruiters and all the job professionals and employers out there to see what you want to do with your future life. What she does next is she's actually adding very interesting things about herself. So she's adding some conferences that she's participated in. So you guys have been producing this conference. It definitely should be going on your LinkedIn account. Any other places that you've been part of, any other volunteering experiences that you have should be definitely going in on there. Now, what she does really well, she gets people to endorse her for skills. And this is hard to do, especially when you're still in college, but you can talk to your professors about this. This doesn't have to be a professional experience that you have to be endorsed for. It's relative to the experience that you are having right now in this stage of your life, and it counts as experience. I think one of the biggest mistakes that I see people making is thinking about that it only has to be this professional corporate experience for me to add it to my LinkedIn profile or to talk about it in my resume, and that's not the case. Every experience, every classroom project, every assignment that you do counts as an experience. So you have to add it here. And she does a really good job of, first of all, getting the featured skills and endorsements, but then she also does a good job of getting people to provide recommendations. Ask your professors to provide you with recommendations. Ask people that you work with to provide you with recommendations and have them added. It's a very easy thing on LinkedIn. Just send a request and they will automatically be added to your profile once the recommendation is provided. And then as you can see here, she does a very good job of just filling her profile from start to finish. She's listing courses that are relevant to her interests. She wants to provide companies with, she wants to work in tech companies, and hence Google has gotten her attention. She lists all the courses. She provides honors and awards, organizations that she's part of, certifications. And here's the fun part. She's adding projects. She only added one project, but how many projects have you done over the course of the last year at least? I mean, they're countless, right? You can definitely add them all here. This is all relevant experience, and what it does, it actually showcases how seriously you take this. And here's another thing, interest. Kristen, you talked about adding, and I think you were also talking about interacting with people of similar interests. And this is actually a good way in the interest section to add the companies that you will want to work for. Companies, and especially, most of you especially talked about wanting to work in a corporate environment. This is a good way to follow their news. This is a good way to make connection, to send connection requests to people within organizations, whether they're recruiters, HR specialists, marketing and advertising professionals working within those organizations. This is a really great way to actually establish it, because once you put up this interest in your profile, then it becomes so much easier for you to track activity and get involved in those conversations with them. Now, let's talk a lot about creating content. It looks like most of you are consuming content on LinkedIn or any other channel right now, but a way for you to start establishing yourself as thought leaders, as someone who recruiters would want to talk to, is actually creating content, valuable content that you can share through your own blog posts, through LinkedIn, through any other channels that I'll talk about in a little bit here. And creating content, it's not just you sort of, it has to have some sort of a value. And the way that you define those value, first of all, there's always someone that's wanting to listen and learn something new. And don't ever feel like there is no value in what you have to say. You just need to find who your audience is. And there is an easy way for you to do that. There are 3 things that you can do in terms of developing content, and there's also a content calendar that I will share with you in a bit that will kind of help you add a little bit more context in terms of what to write specifically about. But there are 3 things that you can do, is write what you know about. Life experiences, classrooms, extracurricular activities. Develop those into 1,200 word posts. LinkedIn allows for up to, I believe it's 1,200 characters in a post, and post that information on your LinkedIn account. Start sharing. It doesn't have to be, as I said, it doesn't have to be anything elaborate. It's literally just your observation, your life experiences. Make the most of your homework. You already published essays. How many of you have published essays and research papers? And all of you, probably, right? So take advantage of this. Don't obviously publish, actually do publish all your research that you've done, all your papers in the media section of your LinkedIn profile, but then also provide sort of like a quick Cliff Notes of what you wrote about. And find some maybe interesting subjects that can have 2 opposing viewpoints, some that are supporting one part of it and others that are supporting the other notion of it, and create sort of this dialogue on your LinkedIn post to have people engage with it. And the third one is share firsthand accounts or experiences that you're interacting with on a daily basis. What obstacles are you coming across? You're just on the heels, many of you are on the heels of graduation. What types of challenges do you come across? One of the things that I hear from people is that it's really hard to get internships even or jobs, because a lot of companies are asking for at least a year or 2 years of experience when you're applying for a job. Well, that's a really good topic to talk about on LinkedIn or any other platform. Discuss that. Have your peers weigh in, have recruiters weigh in, and that way you're not only providing value in terms of content, you're not only creating dialogue, but now you're expanding your network and allowing other people in your network to create relationships. So this is a calendar that currently exists on LinkedIn. And this is actually was put by the students of LinkedIn. There is a large community of students on LinkedIn, and I love this calendar in terms of what they did with it, because they kind of broke it down into, if you're having a hard time deciding what content you want to talk about, here are a couple of things that will guide your process. So for example, for the month of February, they're talking about passion projects. And in this, as an example, they gave a passion project that Mark Zuckerberg was working on. April is coming up, there's decision time. And I believe during, in April of last year, April of this year, applications for colleges are due. And so if you were to think about it now, since you're graduating, if you were to reflect and give advice to your high school self back then, what were the challenges that you were going through? What were the things that you would have done better or you would have done differently when you were applying for colleges? What type of advice would you give to high schoolers that are just getting into the application mode? I mean, these are all wonderful topics that you can easily take advantage of and then elaborate on. And then breaking it down by month, and there are additional topics under each month also. And if you're looking for some inspiration, go to LinkedIn and type in hashtag students of LinkedIn. And you guys will be blown away to see how many conversations are happening on LinkedIn right now among students. I was blown away. That's how I came across Annette and her profile, and I connected with her last week, and we got into this conversation, and she just was so inspirational, and I just was so inspired by what she's doing and how she's going about doing it. And there are so many others. There are literally thousands and thousands of students right now on LinkedIn that are having conversations, that are sharing knowledge. So check it out, and if you want to connect with me, I'll be happy to also provide some support to you. I'll be happy to find mentors to put you in touch with any organizations that are looking for internships or first-time jobs. I'll be more than happy to do that also. So where to post your content? We talked extensively about LinkedIn, and this is a really good platform. But what I would encourage you to do is actually start your own blog. You can get it for free, like for WordPress. How many of you have a blog? Okay, that's good. I see about 5 people raise their hand right now. That's great. What do you do with your blog? What type of content do you write?
What's
your name?
Blog,
Nora?
Yeah, I have a blog for my social media optimization class. So
That's fantastic.
yeah,
What do you do?
so I chose to do like a health fitness kind of blog, and my audience is like 18 to 25-year-olds. So I focus on like cheaper options with like healthier dinners and foods and efficient workouts and things like that. So
That is fantastic. And how do you distribute that content? How do you share it?
So I do like tags, and I also like post it on my Instagram, and my sister actually shared it as well. So
That's
a lot
great.
of her
You've got your
friends.
family to work for.
Yeah, exactly. And I can like see I have Google Analytics, so I can see the traffic that comes on the site as well. So
Awesome. Anyone? That's great. Great job on that. Anyone else that raised your hand? What do you do with your blog?
I have a platform called #ForensicsLab on Facebook that's a part of a larger forensics community, which is public speaking on a competitive collegiate level.
Okay.
And so the blog targets networking and fundraising through activities, professional performance, and networking through our circuit.
That's wonderful. When did you start it? How long have you been at it?
September.
That's great. And what can you share in terms of the results? Who's your audience? How are you going about getting the word out?
So when people post their, like say they meet a new person at a tournament, or they realize a prospective topic that they learned at that tournament, they do the #ForensicsLove to show that they're still networking and meeting new people while learning a new experience.
How cool is that? Awesome. Everyone should follow. There you go. That's your that's your code right now. That's great. Anyone else would like to share anything about your blog? Right. Well, that gives you a good idea. I mean, some of you are already doing it, and that's perfect. That's exactly the way to do it. Because what that does, Lauren, what was your name? LaRasha, you guys are now establishing yourself as thought leaders in your industry, in the niche that you're selecting. I assume, Nora, that's what you want to do? Is that the path that you're gonna take?
yeah, I kind of want to start being more in like health and
There you
like
go.
sport teams, things like that. That's what I'm interested in.
That's perfect. And what you're doing right now, she's establishing her digital footprint so that when people go and she applies for jobs in that health industry somewhere, and recruiters are going to be looking for it, when they Google her name, her blog is actually going to be #1 to show up because it's under her name and it's providing exactly relevant content to the industry that she's interested in getting in. So this is perfect. Again, if you don't want to put your content on your own blog post, there's actually, if you don't want to maintain it yourself, there's actually a wonderful resource that exists out there. How many of you are familiar with medium.com? It's a great tool. Check it out. It's an article publishing tool that allows you to get your content out there within like seconds. All you have to do is you create an account obviously first, but then you copy and paste your articles. And they don't have to be original pieces. It can be a republish of what you post on your own blog. It can be something that you've already written and published on your LinkedIn post. It can actually even be your LinkedIn post. I do that myself. I repost some of my LinkedIn posts that are just 1,200 characters long on medium.com. But what it does, it allows you to be appearing in Google, and it creates, again, that digital footprint that people can track you to. These are just some of the resources that allow you to really establish your digital footprint and have recruiters and other professionals be able to find and form an opinion about you. In essence, what it does, it's the first step in establishing your digital personal branding. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about, and I'm going to wrap it up, is engage with peers, mentors, and potential employers and recruiters. And again, I talked about LinkedIn a lot today. It's because it is where a lot of the activity is happening right now. But before you do anything else, I used to always think that results is the most important thing. Relationships are the most important things. Building relationships is the #1 priority that you should be doing right now. And you haven't graduated yet, now is the time to start. One of the biggest mistakes that I see people making is they get in touch with a recruiter before or right when it's time to submit their resume. And what you become is just one another in thousands of people that email that recruiter with a resume and a request to find a job. How do you make yourself stand out? You find recruiters, you find employers, as I said, through your interest selection in your LinkedIn, and you send them a connection request. You get into a conversation with them. You start commenting on their posts. First of all of that has to be genuine. Like, there is nothing about, people can see that's fake interaction, it's fake. You need to be genuinely interested in helping that recruiter. If they post a job in another state, for example, and you have a relative or a friend that works, that is looking for a job in that state, get in touch with the recruiter and say, I know someone that may be of interested in this. Here's the contact information. Get in touch with them. If they pose a question, answer that question. Try to interact with them. So build relationships. When it's time for you then to send your resume, when it's time for you to make that ask, they're going to be 10 times more receptive to actually helping you than if you were just to cold call them or send them your information. And the same applies to everyone else. It's not just the recruiters. If you already have established your niche, like Vivian wants to have a job or to find a job in an ad agency with a travel focus, you can already start filtering through your LinkedIn connections and see who works in travel industry, who works in ad agencies, and you can start following them, seeing what type of content they post, interacting with them, engaging with them, and build relationships. So when that time comes for you again to make that ask, you're going to be at the top of the list. You're going to be top of mind for them. So I encourage you to spend a lot of time on relationship building because, as I said, relationships are always prioritized over results. So each of us has a fire in our hearts for something, and it's our goal really to find it and keep it alive. And I really hope that you guys will be able to do that. I already see so many of you doing that. It took me, as I said, 10 years to find my fire and to find my desire and to find my passion in life. And my wish for you is that it's going to happen much sooner for you. As I said, I've talked to some of you already, and it looks like you already are on the right track and on the right way to get it done. If I can be of any assistance to help with anything, with mentoring or finding new mentors or getting you in touch with some people, I'm more than happy to help. But I'm just really looking forward to getting to know you and also to follow your successes. And I wish you nothing but the best. Thank you for your time here.